Hi, I'm August here at Clive Coffee, and today we're talking about single boiler espresso machines, the best ways to use them, if they'll work for you at home, and a few tips and tricks. The Rancilio Silvia was my very first espresso machine, so it has a very soft spot in my heart. Just because a machine like this doesn't have a lot of advanced features, shouldn't hold you back from making cafe quality drinks right at home. When using a single boiler machine, it becomes especially important to be using good, freshly roasted coffee, having access to a great espresso grinder, using scales, and having a good precision basket and fitted tamper. When you make sure that all these variables are under control, it makes getting great results from your machine that much easier. I'm about to walk you through making a latte on one of these machines, and I'll talk you through my thoughts along the way, so let's dive in. As always, the first thing we'll do is make sure that our portafilter basket is clean, dry, also making sure it's not damaged at all. I want to be especially careful to be using the exact same amount of coffee every single time. That way I know that if there's any variance going on, it's because of something I'm doing and we can correct it, and not that I'm just using a slightly different amount of coffee every single time. 15 grams of coffee, because that's what fits in these baskets. Making sure my espresso is well distributed before I tamp. And when I tamp, clean, dry tamper, and I want to apply a nice, even, consistent pressure. As I go to brew my espresso, I want to pay especially close attention to the temperature light. I want to make sure that the machine isn't actively heating up as I brew my espresso. Again, this is to help with temperature consistency as best I can on a single boiler machine like this. That shot brewed a little fast, so I'm gonna make a grind adjustment on the grinder. Having a stepless grind adjustment dial on your grinder is also very helpful when using a machine like this, because most of the adjustments we make are only going to be possible by making grind adjustments. We can't use temperature adjustments, for example, on a machine like this. Because that last shot pulled a little quick, I'm going to make a grind adjustment, moving a little bit finer to slow things down. A little bit can go a pretty long way. Make my adjustment there, and I'm gonna purge a little bit of coffee through just to make sure when I pull my next shot, it's just that nice new grind setting. Again, making sure I'm using my exact 15 grams of coffee. Pretty close. Distribute and tamp. I see that my heating light is not currently on, so I should be at about the right temperature, and I will start my shot and start my timer at the same time. Great, so it looks like I actually over-adjusted the grinder. I went a little too fine this time, totally normal. So all I'll do is just back it off a little bit, move it slightly coarser again, and we should be in a really good spot. Eyeballing coffee to the exact gram is very difficult, but even half a gram in either direction can make a pretty big impact on how your espresso brews. So again, can't speak enough for the value of a scale. If you're saving a little bit of money by buying a single boiler, I think it's well worth spending just a little more on a nice scale and a nice grinder. Again, start our shot and our timer at the same time. Awesome. We have a 40-gram shot in about 28 seconds. It's looking good. If you were paying especially close attention, you might have noticed that our boiler heating light came on while that shot was pulling. That doesn't necessarily mean anything bad happened, but it's good to keep in mind that things like that could potentially influence the temperature of your machine and affect how your shot pulls. So if this tastes great or it doesn't taste very good, this is a variable that we do need to keep in mind. Now that we have what looks like a great shot of espresso, we can move to steaming milk on this machine. First thing we'll do is turn it to steam mode by flipping this bottom switch here. You can see that the boiler is now going to begin to heat up to steaming temperature. But because the boiler is entirely filled with water at this point, there's not a lot of room for steam to be created. So we're going to purge some water from the steam wand and make sure we get as much steaming power as we can from a machine of this size. As the machine is generating steam, I'm gonna purge some water through the steam wand, just with an empty pitcher here to catch any water. Open the steam wand up, and gently purge until we're seeing as little water coming out of the steam wand as possible. With a single boiler, there's always going to be a little bit of water coming out along with that steam, but we want to make sure we're getting the driest steam possible. So once we're getting a good consistent dry steam from the steam wand and this boiler heating light turns off, we'll know we're ready to start steaming. Let me prep my milk in advance. You can see it's steaming pretty well. Actually very similar to some more expensive machines that we sell. The main difference when using a machine like this is that it just takes a little bit longer for that milk to come up to our final drinking temperature. Feels good. Turn the steam wand off. Give it a wipe and a little purge. And turn it out of steam mode. Promise you that this drink would be indistinguishable from any other drink made on any other machine in the showroom. Once we're done steaming and we would want to brew another shot of espresso, we want to make sure we cool that boiler back down. Right now it's still up at steam temperature. So really all we'll need to do is run some water through the group head until it's running nice and consistently again. There we have it. Ready to brew another shot and steam more milk if we want. Spending a little bit less on your espresso setup does not mean that you have to sacrifice drink quality. It might take a little extra time compared to a larger, fancier machine, but if you have a few extra minutes in the morning, it could be a very easy trade-off. If you have any questions on using a single boiler machine like this, give us a call. We'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.